Hello everyone, how's everyone doing, guys? So welcome to the live stream, and almost we are the month end, October ending, and got a very good scalp today on Bitcoin. I wanted to just play Bitcoin basically because as I mentioned, that also are very weak actually, and Bitcoin is just having a breakout. So practically, Bitcoin dominance will just probably look really good basically. So what's next? I mean, after a long time, we are doing live stream, and probably from today onwards, as I mentioned, this week we will be continuously doing the streams very, very frequently, guys. And I think what we should be looking for Bitcoin is simply that it's just that Bitcoin is going to make new all-time highs. It's very, very simple, basically. For those who have missed, including myself, basically, I don't have any spot bags. I'm just purely scalping in and out, just trying to make a good amount of money that missed actually on the Bitcoin pump. If you remember, I had a 59k limits. I just canceled it like 2 days back, and then it just probably went there and just pumped because I wanted this previous month POC levels to be tested. So it just front run like for a few $1,000, and then it just went it. But that's fine, absolutely fine. What is next for the Bitcoin? And well, honestly speaking, guys, things are looking really, really good for Bitcoin. But something still bugging me actually. I really don't see any volume here on the Coinbase. So practically there is no spot volume here on the Bitcoin. The Coinbase is, I don't know. There is no volume basically, because if you really have to break out, the volume should have been very, 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 very high. The problem is there is no volume. Okay, that's my issue. And before we say that we really want to go for the new all-time highs for like 80k, 100k, what exactly what are the signs we really want to see on the Bitcoin? Basically, what I would like to see personally, two signs. First, you really want to see Bitcoin doing 5 waves. That's like 1, 2, the third wave with a strong volume upside, 4, and then 5. Okay, so there has to be 5 waves, and the first wave that we are looking for should be 5 waves, another small 5 waves. That's like a sub wave. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now that we are in the bigger wave 5, there is also a possibility that Bitcoin might be doing a diagonal. But now, if we are saying that Bitcoin is doing diagonal, we need to see whether the wave 1 that initiated from 15k was in fact your diagonal, because the wave 5 diagonal only and only works when your wave 1 is a diagonal basically. That's the only way it works actually. Okay, so basically this is a very, very nice, I would say, theory. So I don't see any diagonal formation on on the weekly time frame. But if you just look at probably the daily time frame on the Bitcoin, on the lower term time frame, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, there is a diagonal basically, and a very strong diagonal actually. So practically, you see, so there is a diagonal over here, and there is a diagonal over here. That's a very solid diagonal basically. The volume was pretty much low, and that was like a 5 waves basically. So we can say that there was a diagonal basically, and hence the diagonal theory is still a very valid theory for a Bitcoin practically. So here, my understanding from what I'm watching the market, there has to be 5 waves on an upside, or there has to be ABC move on an upside. Simple as that. Now let's try and analyze as to what exactly we are watching. So if we have to say that there should be 5 waves, practically I don't see it. Why? Because you see, this move is A, B, and C. So that's a clear 3 waves move, and then you have A, B, C, another 3 waves move, and then we started pumping up with 5 waves, A, B, C, and then you got another 5 waves like here. So something is very odd with the wave count that we are having right now for Bitcoin, honestly. Now, many might argue that, hey, what if this is the irregular expanded flat? So basically, this is your wave 1, that's your wave 2, basically ABC. Well, for those who really want to argue that this is a irregular expanded flat, probably I would say just draw the fibs over here. You just draw the fibs, and when you draw the fibs, have a line for 1618, and also have a line for 1414. So when you do that, you really don't want to see the price or B wave pumping up beyond 1414, because if it does, then probably it's just likely going to invalidate your ABC scenario. In this scenario, the B wave is very possible, basically. So yes, the B wave is a possibility. The second test that this is really valid is you just have to see where is your C wave going to be. So you don't really want to see your C wave going back under, I would say, the 1414 Fibonacci levels. Ideally, I would even not like to see my C wave going back under, really going to this 1414 Fibonacci levels. But because it would be very deeper pullback for a C wave. But let's say that this was 1-2, some sort of a 1-2. So practically speaking, there are two possible scenarios over here for the Bitcoin. One is bullish, one is bearish. So the bull case would be this is wave 1, as I mentioned. This is wave 2. Probability is there. This is possible. And we are in the 1-2 case. Basically, this is another 1-2, and we are in the wave 3 right now. And wave 3 is likely going to end somewhere around the bigger 1618 Fibonacci levels. The bigger 1618 we will draw, and we will see where exactly the 1-2 ends, practically speaking. So you draw the fibs from these highs and to the lows, basically. Yep. So that's where your wave 3 ends, somewhere between 85,000 and 90,000. To be specific, it should be around 90K. And then you should be having a wave 4 target for like a retest of 78.5, and then wave 5 should be like a double top. And that's how the bull case scenario is going to end. So practically speaking, this is a very bullish scenario. And for this bullish case to play out, you don't want to see Bitcoin now falling back under 66.5 clearly. So you really can't see Bitcoin falling back under 66.5. And if it does, then we have a strong, I would say we still gonna have problem. However, the good thing is, still if Bitcoin does hold the levels of 66.5 on the daily time frame, and we are bouncing off, then definitely I think 66.5 is going to be a very good invalidation level for this whole bull case scenario. Why? Of course, I mentioned that we are dumping and that wave count didn't work out, honestly speaking. So this Elliot wave theories, of course, when the things don't play the way you want to play, so we should always shift our biasness. That's how a trader should be. There's nothing to be loyal about, in my view. So if we are a trader, yes, definitely we have to change our perspective when the market shifts, and that's exactly what we are watching. And that's how I trade in the morning, by simply longing the market at 68.3, basically, which I would have not done. Honestly, I would have not longed it. But yeah, if I would have just kept my biasness, a bearish biasness. But yeah, honestly, this is the bull case scenario for the Bitcoin for the 90K. And similarly, we also have a bear case scenario. The bear case scenario for the Bitcoin would be that, as I mentioned here, this is ABC. So if this is A, and this is your wave B, so we are doing a diagonal wave C, which means that we should be not going more than 71,820. That's it. So that's going to be your top for Bitcoin for the month of October. If at all, as you can see, you can just really draw the diagonal over here. That's like a ABC practically. So that's a very strong diagonal. The volume is declining, as you can see over here. So practically, yeah, this diagonal is a very valid one as well. So the bear case scenario and the bull case scenario, we both have it at this point. So what are we gonna do, Aman? Honestly, the bear is also valid, the bull is valid. But if this is bear, so what does it mean for the Bitcoin overall? Because if we are saying that this is bear, which means that Bitcoin, this is ABC, practically the yellow wave count, ABC, which means that Bitcoin is likely going to have a small push, as I mentioned, to take a proper liquidity above, and just going to be like a double top formation over here at the 0.886 Fibonacci levels and the 1618 around 71,820 to 72,160. And then what's going to happen is we're going to reject, and it's going to probably come back down as a fake out. So that is a breakout, but that's like a fake out. And we might just probably dump it back down to, like this. That's going to be your, the bigger, ABC, and then we're going to see 5 waves on the downside, the fake out, and then we will be dumping back down to $47,000 practically if this ABC plays out, because that's the only way to look Bitcoin at this point. I really don't see any other possibilities for a bear count unless you can go for irregular expanded flat, but I would not go for irregular expanded flat because you see, the accumulation that's happening on the Bitcoin. We are just accumulating for like long and long and long. If it has to be ABC, it has to be very, very quick. Practically, we are accumulating for almost like, as you can see, almost close to 156 bars. That's like 225 days basically. So practically for like almost close to more than half a year, or like 7 months, 8 months, Bitcoin is simply accumulating in this channel, and hence it will be very, very difficult for bulls or for bears to literally dump it back down to 47k. So practically this is the very lowest scenario in my view. Very low probabilities for now, unless until we just probably go back down or lose 68.2 on the lower term time frame, or even 69k on the CMEs. Practically till then, I think that you should not be bad at all actually. Even when we were just probably looking for a retracement on Bitcoin a few days back around 66.5, where eventually, as I mentioned, that this level was the one that it needs to be holded for an impulsive move on an upside. So we held these levels. The problem was it was like a deviation inside. We held it and we just started probably moving on an upside. So this is what, the clear wave count that I have for Bitcoin. If we are bullish, then this is how the bull case scenario for the Bitcoin is going to play out. Now, I also mentioned that there was an engulfing candle, if you remember. So yes, there is an engulfing candle on the Bitcoin, but the good part about this engulfing is when I deeply analyzed about the Bitcoin, what I understood from the CMEs, basically that engulfing candle formed over the weekend. Hence, CME did not have any engulfing candle basically. And that's the reason the CME is pumping heavily. As you can see here, CME is already at $70,200, whereas the spots on the Coinbase it's at $69,666, which clearly indicates the CME is having $800 premium on Bitcoin. Basically, that's a strong premium. We have seen this sort of a premium over here when we were just pumping up to, in July, and we have seen a similar sort of a premium when we were in the May. This is how, the premium price were. So practically, I think, in my view, I think this is the bull case scenario, and this is the bear case. Still, Bitcoin is above 66.5. I think we should not be looking for shorting opportunities, even if it looks really good to you. I would not be looking to shorts, honestly speaking, guys. I would just probably stay away from shorts. I don't want to just probably give back my profits, just in case. But yes, this ABC, the diagonal is valid if you look at the volume perspective. So these are the two scenarios that I have. you really want to be more bullish about Bitcoin, I would say we can simply probably turn up. We start closing daily above 69.1 on the Coinbase and everything else, because if you look at here, the 69.1k level is a very, very strong levels for Bitcoin. We have tried multiple times previously to close above, and once we close the first candle, the next candle would have been like a reversal. So that's how we have done it in the past. So basically, if we are today and tomorrow, that's like 29th October and 30th October, we are closing Bitcoin daily candle above 69.1. I think it was going to be a very big deal for Bitcoin. Probably we can just really long it then with our target to 80,577. Still good money to make. So we have both the cases, bull and bear. I would say don't rush, don't FOMO into anything at this point. Why? Because alts are so damn weak. A slightest pullback in the slightest pullback in the Bitcoin, the alts are going to dump a lot actually because of the Bitcoin dominance. So this is what I have on the hard-term time frame. So this is, I would not say hard-term time frame, like a mid-term time frame, guys. So I hope it is very clear to each and every one of you. I mean, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Now, what do we have for the hard-term time frame for Bitcoin, guys? So this is, as I mentioned, if we are bullish and if this Bitcoin rally is like our, the fifth wave that we were waiting for. If this is our fifth wave for the Bitcoin, which means that Bitcoin is simply going to end the whole pump, in my view, in the green box practically. That's going to be our B wave. And possibility is I'm still aiming for this sort of a scenario on Bitcoin where I don't see at this point why Bitcoin would pump to $200,000 and $300,000, simply because you got a 5 waves on an upside, as you can see over here. So that's a very clean 5 waves over here. You see, that's a 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, and that's your wave. See 4, and we are in the wave 5. So even if this is 5 waves, that's it. I mean, this is going to be our fifth wave. That's it. And after the fifth wave ends, normally we will see a bigger retracement in the market. Not necessarily a bear market, but it is going to be a retracement. A retracement would be anywhere between 15K to 85K. My target for the retracement would be around, $22,000. So that is where the bigger picture is. I mean, just look at the bigger picture. So we really, really need, Bitcoin to practically reject in the green box anywhere between 83,700 to 100K. That is where the rejection level is for the Bitcoin. And practically that is the Fibonacci levels as well. It might even pump to $127,000, but that's it. But still, if it pumps to $127,000, it's just almost close to 80-85% gains, which we should not miss it actually. But yeah, overall, this is what the plan that I have for the long term. So the bottom, the bear market dump would start, be happening in 2025, and it will happen till 2025 December. In 2026, we should be starting a big pump on Bitcoin, which would just really keep on pumping till maybe 2028, 2029. So that's what the bigger picture is for the Bitcoin. Just look at it, how cool this looks like. This rally, this pump looks so amazing. It just needs a little bit more accumulation on a bigger time frame. Because if you really want Bitcoin to pump to $500,000, you need that strong hands. And you need a change of, hands basically, from retails to the bigger institutions to banks practically. Because institutions are finally going to encash their Bitcoin if it goes to 85, 800K. Money is profits are profits. For example, the BlackRock, they started buying Bitcoin around, ETFs, 41,000 to 40,000 to 41,000 bucks. And the problem with the seller entry is they shifted their stop loss from 30,000 to now almost close to $39,000. So practically seller entry is not at all safe at this point, in my view. It will be tested in coming months, in coming years probably. So it is definitely going to be tested. So if you're afraid what is going to be the bigger picture, yes, this is the bigger picture for Bitcoin in my view. And I am very much anticipating for this to play out. So looking to the lower term time frame on the Bitcoin, guys, let's look for the 1 hour time frame. I would say not short anything. Just don't press any short button. You don't try to short it. That's it. Very, very simple. And what I'm watching here is the very nice bet pattern. So if you see here, we got to move on the downside with A, B, C. So that's your wave A, wave B, and C. So that's a 3-wave move. And then we had a very deeper pullback on Bitcoin around 65.5. Ideally, the pullback should be 66.5, and we should have not gone under if it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I mean, this is a very deeper pullback, meaning that this can be A, B, and we are doing C wave here. So this is some sort of irregular expanded flat, like a previous week high's deviation. We retest the 69K, maybe even we retest the 68.8K support, go for a double top like this, and probably we just sweep the lows likely to 65K. So this can be the worst case scenario for Bitcoin on the lower term time frame, as I mentioned. The higher term time frame, totally higher term time frame, as we saw on the BLX liquidity index, is perfectly something you need to keep in mind as an investor. And we started with this ABC scenario over here. If this has to play, which means that the lower term time frame have to be like this. This is how the lower term time frame should play. So we just have to wait for the daily closure today, as well as I would say tomorrow. But even because if today daily closes above 69.1, bulls tries to close above 69.1, that would be very, very good. We might just probably see $72,000 tomorrow, before the 31st October, and a very, very massive pump on Bitcoin. The bull case scenario for the Bitcoin would be that on the 1 hour time frame, this is practically, some sort of a wave 1, and that's your wave 2. Slightly deeper, but that's wave 2 anyways. And we are going for massive wave 3, which is going to be like this. This is how it will go. So that's the bull case scenario. And I would probably prefer the bull case scenario over here. But now that I've booked my profits for Bitcoin scalp, I don't have any other new position. I would simply wait for it, unless, just probably close it like a deviation, then we have a problem. So let's wait for, how we close the daily. As you can see, we have a liquidity, untapped liquidity on the Bitcoin, which is around 70,169 as well as 70,180. So what does that mean is we might just probably go for a retest tomorrow, or maybe 69,100 retest. That's where we can scalp it, guys. That is the levels to scalp. We can scalp from there, and we can just do something like this, maybe. This is how I would like to see Bitcoin doing something like this, and also give us a retest of 68.5. A very good daily flip. As you can see, this level is a good flip. So if it flips, the level would be retested over here. So that's where I would be looking to give you a good scalps actually. Now, I've talked very much bullish about Bitcoin and everything. What do we have for USD DOM? I don't know. I have a very mixed feeling for USD DOM, honestly speaking. We started losing 5.24 again, but then we have this harmonic. I'm not sure how strong this harmonic is, honestly. But yeah, we have that harmonic at the moment. The good part about here is if you're losing 5.24 on the daily, I would have to say that, the Bitcoin is just simply going to pump up. Just look at it. I mean, we don't have any support in the 5.24. We start losing it, we're just simply going to dump it back down to 4% levels, practically. just try and look at from the perspective of, RSI. So if you open your mind and probably look without any biasness, I would say RSI is at support, basically. So even if the price is just, dumping back under it, but the RSI is at support. Now, this is a little bit concerning for me, actually. Why? Because if RSI is at support, which means that the dump that we're getting might be a fake out. And just probably going to trap more and more longs who are going to FOMO. And that's going to be bad. So you really want, Bitcoin or USD dominance to lose 40.3, which is RSI based MA. And once that lost, I would be very, very happy. Simple as that. Just look at from the weekly perspective as well. Weekly is very, very good. Weekly for Bitcoin is also really good. I don't know how many of you guys check weekly chart, but look at here as well on the Coinbase. The weekly chart is so good. Very good reversal, very good RSI breakout, you see. Very good. All my indicators is turned green, giving us a very good signal on the buy. In fact, they turned green on this dump to 59K. As you can see, everything was green on the weekly. RSI confluence, BB confluence, EMA confluence, as well as cross confluence. And the 50 confluence was red, which indicated that we were above 50, which means that there's a very good retest that was happening for the RSI. This candle was like a perfect buy signal, actually. So if you look at from the RSI perspective, just look at here. You see, very good RSI. What does this mean? Which means that RSI is forming head and shoulder. You see? So don't be much happy about it. What I expect on RSI is maybe a small pullback would be nice to just have a retest and do something like this would be nice for the Bitcoin, and then we start dumping more down. But this is clearly forming a head and shoulder, guys, which means that the price makes higher highs and the RSI don't make higher highs but the lower highs, forming a strong bearish divergence over here on RSI and on Bitcoin. Basically that's where the short is going to be, and that's where we will short whatever the price that at that point of time would be. But RSI is looking good to me on the weekly time frame. The daily time frame, okay. I mean, it's not looking that good, but we are at a resistance right now, as you can see. So we'll see how are we going to close RSI basically today. I mean, if you're closing above the RSI based MA, good. If you're not, then probably this is going to be like a fake out. ABC would play out then. So at this point, I really don't have any confirmation whether the ABC is going to play out, the 5 is going to play out. From the wave count perspective, the ABC looks more realistic to me. Not by biasness. I really want Bitcoin to pump it up to new all-time highs, but just that the wave count don't add up, basically. And the Coinbase spot is not showing any good strength. As you can see, the volume that is lacking. The volume is lacking, basically. Now that volume might come after the breakout, new all-time highs. I'm not sure, but currently it's lacking. So we'll just have to be slightly careful. Ethereum, the plan for the Ethereum stays the same. No change in the plan, basically. Whatsoever, this might be ABC, but what I'm watching for is, as I mentioned, once Ethereum flips this red box, as I mentioned, 2534, basically. Once we does, we long it and we ride it till 2620, maybe 2641. So that is what our plan for ETH. I'm expecting a short from here and go back down to 2270. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this is the scalp I'm gonna give for ETH once it flips this red box. If you don't know how to draw this red box, really, you just can copy the screenshot or take the screenshot of this red box and have it on your chart and wait for it to flip. Similarly, on the heart and time frame, I have mentioned many times that eventually I'm not bearish on ETH. It's just that I'm bearish on ETH right now. Overall, I'm not bearish. You need to catch a proper entry for it. We are still struggling. We are still, in a triangle basically. So you see ETH is still in a triangle. What does that mean as a triangle? Which means that if you look at this here, which clearly indicates that this was your wave A, and this might be your wave B actually, honestly. Very, very much wave B possibilities there. If this is like a fake out. If Ethereum flips 2,640 levels as a support, I would see Ethereum pumping up to $3,000. Sorry, not $3,000. I would be seeing Ethereum pumping up here. This is going to be your target. $3,578, maybe even 3,600 practically. So practically, I think this triangle is what, Ethereum is all about. You got to fake out and then we dumped. You see, you got to fake out, we got to dump. And now we save this triangle basically. You see the triangle A, B, C. A, B, C. And then you got a sharp move here. And then A, B, C. Like this. And then another A, B, C, small one. Practically it's all 3, 3, 3 in this whole scenario. So if this is the fake out, and the next, if Ethereum goes for a breakout, it's going to be big. And simply it's just going to pump it up to 3,071. And later it can pump it up to 3,550 for like a bigger harmonic to play out. And then 2,190 will get invalidated if we are going to flip this trend line. And that's the reason I mentioned many times 2,641 needs to be rejected. Here, this trend line, 2,641, which on the lower time frame is our golden pocket zone and a resistance. So practically, I am looking to long. Once it flips to 534, we long it, guys. Simply long the ETH with our stop loss 2,495. Or we can also play very tight stop loss of $2,500, honestly. So that is going to be a very, very good, scalp for ETH. Also that in my buy zone, and I am personally looking to buy, is Sui. Sui basically swept the lows as I mentioned. One more down, that is done. 5 waves are done in my view. Any retest in my view would be good over here for Sui, but maybe if it gives one more down, would be nice. Very, very nice. So either you really want to long or buy above 1.8 practically here. You flip the 0.382. This is how it is going to do. And pump up like this to 2.6 to 2.7. It's going to take its own sweet time. Or else, let it just probably do one more down like this, the 0.5 Fibonacci levels. And then we can long it from here to pump like this. But it is in my buy zone. Honestly speaking, it took a liquidity. I personally, as I mentioned, on my updates for alts, any sweep under 1.6 is going to buy. I had some good long orders there, got filled and moving up very nicely. Honestly speaking, just scalping here and there. TIA perfectly played out in the red box. I mentioned in the morning as well. I think someone asked me about what TIA would do. That's what TIA did. The bounce from here, in my view, would take it TIA to 5.5. So practically, in my view, once TIA starts reclaiming 5.015, you can long it. That's going to be a very good, I would say PO3, or you can say not a 3 tab, but a PO3. And you can target TIA minimum 5.5, but it's not done. It will just take out both the lows. And once it takes out both the lows, then TIA would be done with this whole dump practically. Another alt that I'm aiming for is Say. Say, I'm looking for it to long the trend line, you see. But the problem is we might not get it because RSI is looking so good. RSI confluence turning green, BB confluence turning green, and 50 confluence turning green. Practically speaking, say is really looking great to me on the 4 hours time frame. The harmonic targets are achieved basically. Yes, we might see one more dump. In fact, we wanted to short here. If you remember, I gave the short at 4148, missed it by like one I would say cents or 10 cents, and just dump it to the target basically. And we are at a support. We are at a support right now. So as you can see here, for say, look at the daily time frame. Yep, so that is where the support is for say. So we are in the support, and the trend line support is this, somewhere around 34-35 cents. But if say starts flipping or reclaiming 37 cents, I would scalp it, I would long it, with my first target would be 39.7 and later 41.7. That's what I would target for say. Overall, this harmonic have played out, so I'm just going to delete it for now. Perfectly played out for the say. But if you look at from the perspective of the wave count, this might be ABC, guys, which means that I would not expect new all-time highs or maybe anything bigger than or above, I would say 52 cents. So say it will be simply a pump from here like this, a rejection, double bottom, pump. That's going to be our order block. You see this order block? So we're just going to deviate this order block and then we dump. So that's how it's going to dump then. So I don't expect the new highs on the say basically. Let's check a few more alts. This did not play it out. Luckily, I took this scalp personally. I got stopped out over here. Me and Shur, we both took it. I was expecting it to hold the green box, but the stuff was very tight. And the 5 waves did not play it out, meaning that this was something ABC basically. So Moo Dank is something you should avoid for now. Shit coins are, without the proper price action, can just really wreck you, But if your risk is managed, nothing would happen. Okay, VIF is having a very strong reversal over here on from the lows. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. So as you can see, my plan for the VIF was to retest 2.7 and 2.8. That's still stand basically, which means that if VIF really needs to, pump it up basically, so which would also mean that this move on the downside was your some sort of a diagonal, you see, because the move seems to be like you can also say bullish wolf waves practically. See, very nice bullish wolf waves. And how are we going to play if this is a bullish wolf phase? How are we supposed to play this normally? So you draw an order block from the first wave. Okay, so that's where this is the levels you need to flip. The target would be the green line. So practically this is the strong resistance. Any retest of the order block that we have around 2.28 to 2 point, like a double bottom sort of thing, we go for a change in structure like this. We go for a retest, accumulates here, and then we break out. We go for a green line, and that's where you short it again practically, or at least you can let it ride. In case if this green line is flip, it can pump to 3.1, maybe even higher. But ideally, this is how I would like to play. So I would just really wait for it to break out, flip the green box, hold it till 2.4, long it there, and you can just really ride it to 2.72. If everything goes well, you can even go for a liquidity sweep to 2.8. So that's how we should be playing with, but not now. I would not FOMO here either. At least give me a double bottom sort of thing, but not here actually. JTO is also, I was checking it yesterday. Was my plan for the JTO, and it seems to like playing out. I'm looking for JTO to buy around 2.19, maybe even 2.2, but I would not FOMO here. What it can do from here is it can probably make new highs, which would be very good if it does. I really don't want it to just probably reject from here and dump to, because if it rejects from here, it can probably dump it back down to 1.9. So you want to see a sweep of the highs just one more time like this, take the liquidity, and that's going to be like a V-shaped recovery, and then we can do something like this for the JTO here. So that's what the plan for the JTO. Don't FOMO here, guys. Okay, this will come down to us. Don't just probably try to chase it. It will come down. Solana. I want to give my time on Sol, guys. Let's try and understand deeply what Solana is doing right now. Well, if you look at the daily time frame, it is doing a V-shaped recovery with a perfect, I would say, atom formation. The EV is missing, but let's just try and understand the atom formation. And also, we are having a very strong resistance over here. If you look at from the perspective of a RSI, just look at here. So RSI is barely, bouncing or holding from the RSI based MA. So what it indicates is the momentum is losing. So Sol is losing momentum clearly. So if Sol makes new highs, I would say sweeping the previous swing highs, that is going to form a strong bear divergence over here. So if you look at the 4 hours time frame now, and I posted my plan for Sol, I would like to see one more push up towards 180. I also posted few hours back, it's doing irregular expanded flat practically. So that's your irregular expanded flat. We can scalp Sol basically. We can literally scalp Sol. So that's your irregular expanded flat. You see, A, B, C. So that's your wave 1. That's your wave 2. We should not be going under 173.9. Okay, and we hold it. We pump it up. 3, 4, 5. We go for like a fake out, breakout of 182, 183, and what it might does is come back down, as I mentioned, to retest the support of $162. So I think, this is going to be a very massive fake out if it gives us very, very massive fake out. So something you need to understand and just have to be very, very careful playing it. If it gives us the pullback, I'll be playing some scalps on Sol on the 15 minutes time frame. Now, let's break down the 15 minutes time frame. If you look at the 15 minutes time frame, we are already doing ABC here. A, B, C, okay? I don't see 5 waves practically. So this might be a last wave, some sort of a diagonal sort of scenario. So you would really want to see an entry around 702 to 786 Fibonacci levels. Might even, I would front run to 618 golden pocket zone. But anywhere 618, 702 is where we should be looking to entry. Your invalidation would be, as I mentioned, under 173.9, or you can even say that a safest invalidation would be under 173. And from there, this is how it should play out. A slight push up, dump like this for a retest, and then push up like this for a 5th wave up 182, retest of the resistance. Losing these levels of 173, that is going to be invalidation, and we're going to take Sol down to 170, not only 170, but towards the red box straight away to $162. That will literally change the whole wave count for the Sol at that point of time. Okay, so you have to keep a very hard stop loss for this scalp. Let's check how Bitcoin is going to close if in the next 2 days as a monthly candle. October is always green, guys, and this time it's already proven that it is green despite of the massive wick on the downside. That massive wick is now our new demand. Basically, whenever the price is going to go there, it's going to be demand. You have to study it very, very carefully. A similar thing that happened in the September was normally supposed to be red September, but this time we had 7% green, and October it's already 10%. Normally the average October is somewhere between 26 to 33%, and we still have 2 more days to go, like 30 and 31st. So anything can happen from here. A massive pump out of nowhere to $78,000-$80,000 is also a possibility. As I mentioned, if you're ultra bullish for Bitcoin, a small pullback to 69.1, 69,000, and just keeps on pumping up. It can also happen that way. So the 2 days are very critical for Bitcoin in my view. And if Bitcoin literally make new all-time highs, this is simply going to make a bearish divergence for the Bitcoin on the monthly, which means you have a weekly bearish divergence and a head and shoulder. You have a monthly bearish divergence with the price making higher highs and RSI making lower highs. So you know what's going to happen next. Probably, look at the BLX chart. Look at the bigger picture, because monthly bear divergence and monthly reset, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take probably like 7 to 8 months, maybe even 9 months to completely reset the RSI and start a new bull run for the Bitcoin. But just imagine. This is not my biasness, but this is what I'm telling you based on what I see. What about FET and INJ? FET, I'm still waiting for it to come back down to my buy zone, basically, of as I mentioned, I'm looking for 0.9, and that's a very logical target for FET. It really went to close to $1.1, but I personally think that it will go one more down, in my view. I think FET should be sweeping this lows practically at $1, and might see a small push up, but overall rejection, and then do something like this and then push up like this. So that would be very nice for FET in my view. So if same plan for FET, no change, I still expect it to move down unless it starts flipping some important resistance. INJ, I also stand with the same plan for INJ. $18 was tested. I think I missed it or what? Oh shit. $18, it just tested it and it's just holding up. I think INJ is looking so good here actually. We can buy some spot bags for INJ here. It is like a 3-step setup, you see. So this is your support, okay, and you can also say that a very good week of accumulation basically. Let me just show you. So this is your first resistance, AR, automatic rally. This is ST, test of the resistance, come back down like a spring, another ST, a bigger spring in phase B, and then we start reversing. You got a very nice chalk over here, and then you got A, B, C. So practically INJ looks damn good to me. I think you should buy some spots at least. Looking for longs, it's a little bit risky, but spots, yes. And once we start losing $18 or 17.9, simply sell it. But it's very, very good. The risk reward is amazing for INJ. basically. I think I missed the lows. I think my alert did not set or what. So the target would be for INJ would be here. This red line. So like 74% move towards $33 basically. The invalidation is very clear. Just go with the hard stop loss. Okay. Similarly for Tau. Okay, let's check this chart. Let's check on the daily time frame. And look at how things plays out. The 161 at 1886. This was always the plan. I think it is done with the 5 waves actually. And there is a shift in structure here. So what we should be expecting? Something like this. A retest, accumulation, thrust, rejection, and down to this support of 357. The reason I see 357 is simply because of this. Alternatively, what it can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your wave 3, and this might be your wave 4. This is likely a wave 4. Yeah, perfect. So I think Tau looks something like this. However, if it flips here on the daily with 2 consecutive close, then I can say that it's just probably going to pump a lot. Then we'll have to be bull, but I don't see any bullishness. So any retest of the range lows would be a nice long for Tau. Yeah, 489 to 474. Basically, that's what I'm expecting for Tau to hold. That's all for the today's stream, guys. And Ethereum is trying to flip. Once it does, we long it. Our take profit targets 2620, 2641. Okay. In case if it flips 2641 or goes for a breakout, then you know the drill. Then it's just simply going to go for a big reversal then. Okay. But for now, we're just going to scalp that way. So that's all for today's stream, guys. Have a nice night. Take care.